With all that done and out of the way, it's time to open up a little bit of movie news.
What?
What? All right. And our first bit of movie news today comes to us from, this particular article is from Esquire. However, it would appear that Lashana Lynch, if you didn't already know, there's a new James Bond movie coming out called No Time to Die. I feel like the vast majority of us should have already been aware of this. The film was supposed to come out this last spring, right? It didn't. COVID hit. All of the poops have hit all of the fans. It's gotten everywhere. And cinematically, the big major release, not even just the big major releases, but a lot of films that were supposed to come out in theaters have all been delayed. You know, for a long time, movie theaters were shut down across the United States, if not the world. And very slowly, some of these theaters have started opening back up and started playing older films. Like, you know, it's weird to say an older film is Jurassic Park and Back to the Future, but, you know, these are the films that are being screened right now. In addition, there are a few new releases coming out, and, people are slowly going back to the theaters. Tenet came out, The New Mutants came out. There's a new Robert De Niro movie, I think, called, Playing with Grandpa or Raging with Grandpa. Wouldn't that be a great title? First of all, before we hit this news about Lashana Lynch, Ash, would that not be a great title for a movie, like a comedy with Robert De Niro, Raging with Grandpa?
Right. And there's no other person who could play the raging grandpa
No.
other than Robert. Well, that's not true. Let's see.
Well,
I
he
feel
would
like
have
who
to
was
be a
the guy in
washed
Meet the
up.
Fox?
If he was a washed up boxer who's all right, kind of taking that raging bull thing, kind of moving
Right.
on to the next
Well,
stage.
okay. Are we saying raging as in angry or raging as in throwing a rager? That changes the dynamic entirely.
I feel like we should get our very good friend Seth Rogen to write this script. Let's get him to pen the script. I feel like this is right up his alley.
I think so too. Yeah. Well, I'll call him later and see.
Please do.
We actually,
Please do.
we've got a date tomorrow, but I'll shoot him a text
Yikes.
tonight and see if.
Well, if you can get me in, please get me in. But going back to our main topic, you guys, Lashana Lynch was just interviewed the other day, and she let slip that it is confirmed she actually is taking on the 007 moniker. Now, here's what this means. Is Lashana Lynch playing James Bond? No. James Bond is inherently a male character. He's not inherently a white character, but he's inherently a male character. Is Lashana Lynch playing James Bond? No, because James Bond is a character. 007 is his employee ID number. That's it. So for anyone who's out there saying, rage in the air, Lashana Lynch is playing James Bond. No. That is not what's happening. That is not what's happening. We've already been told that at the beginning of this new film, well, actually, if you watch the last one, Spectre, which is a piece of trash, by the way. I hated that last movie. It ends with, spoiler alert, James Bond gave up his 007 status. He walked away from MI6. I was about to say the IMF. He walked away from the Impossible Mission Force. He walked away from MI6, and he fell in love again, I guess. I don't know. This is part of what makes Spectre just a trash film. And he just kind of threw away his title, his 007. So this new movie picks up with James Bond living in Jamaica, and guess what? Lashana Lynch is the new 007. They needed to fill that spot, so they filled it with her character. She's playing the character of Naomi. So yeah, she's not James Bond. She's 007. And I think that this is really intriguing, you guys. I think this is really cool. One of the things that, first of all, this article points out a lot of stuff. Everything from expectations from the masses to, potential borderline racism. It points out stuff of like how the character of James Bond has endured over the years, kind of where the future of the franchise is going. Like, there are things about the 007 franchise that are happening now that couldn't have happened 40 years ago. There are things that happened 30 years ago that could not have happened in like the 20 years prior to that film coming out. So, things that what's his face? Yes, shoot, Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Roger, things that the Roger Moore James Bond did in his films could not have been done in the Sean Connery films, because it was, at the time in the 60s, it would have been too edgy, and then things that they did in the 80s could not have been done in the 70s, like Timothy Dalton. When it was time for him to play Bond, they got away with doing stuff and taking the character to new places that they wouldn't have dared to take Roger Moore's character. Same thing with Pierce Brosnan, same thing with Daniel Craig. So the evolution of the character keeps changing. And I've always said for the longest time, 007 is a moniker. It's a moniker. It's an employee number. It is not synonymous with James Bond. I mean, it's become kind of synonymous over the years because, like, why would we stop to consider anything otherwise? But now the filmmakers are challenging what we have taken for granted for all these years, in that 007 does not belong to James Bond. And I think this is really cool. I think this is a really interesting idea. I think this opens up new storytelling. I think it's possible, maybe not probable, but it's possible for a spin-off film starring Lashana Lynch as Naomi playing 007. I think that definitely opens itself up to new storytelling and whatever. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we could continue on with James Bond movies doing his own spy thing. Who knows? Maybe he comes back to MI6. Maybe he starts his own version of MI6. Who knows? Ashley, let me kick it to you. You're hearing about this maybe today for the first time. I'm not sure. But you're familiar with James Bond and the franchise and everything that people like, expectations that people have had for years and whatever. How does this strike you? That a brand new character is taking over the moniker of 007. And do you think that this is an edgy thing? Do you think this is a wise decision? Where do you stand on this?
Yeah. Well, I was in film school up until yesterday. I dropped classes because, we lost our job and there's like a bunch of other things going on in the world. So
I'm sorry. I
right
was
now,
taking a sip of my drink. When you said that you dropped out of film school literally yesterday, I almost spit my drink all over the place. Sorry, that was hilarious. As you were.
oh, great, great. Yeah. The irony of me being on the show right now. But in film school, I was taking a drama of diversity class. And one of the things that we talk about is the importance of representation in films. And I think a big part of that is, what do you do with all these movies that are always going to come out, like, the James Bonds, the Mission Impossible, all these, or like the A-Team, I don't know what that movie is called, but like all these movies that have like A-Team, I crushed it. Great. Yeah, all these movies that have like strong male characters and straight or white male characters. I think that we're in a time now where we're seeing diversity enter into cinema the way it really can't in books and in music and in art. Cinema lends itself the opportunity to reinvent characters or ideas from similar stories or storylines. So I think it's really important that they're making this film and passing the badge number over to, it's not like they're going to retire it for James Bond.
No.
But it's nice that they're adding some, or they're being more inclusive. This is something that we really need, especially in 2020.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And you have a really interesting take on this in that, like, you've taken a diversity in film class. I never had the opportunity to go to film school, that's an experience and opportunity that I've just never been exposed to. But yeah, I look at this as this can only be a good thing. Anytime, like, how many movies? Let me pose you with a challenge, Ash. On one hand, you have 5 fingers. Can you count? I know this might be hard. How many films can you count that have a straight white male lead? It might be difficult, but can you do it?
Oh, God, let's see. Let's see here. Any genre of movie, right?
Any genre. It's up to you.
Oh God, okay.
Point
Man,
being,
one now coming to mind.
point being, I mean, we could carry on with this bit forever.
Forever.
Yeah, it's straight white male leads are a dime a dozen. This has been the trend
Right.
for generations, for decades, and if not a century, over a century, as the film industry has been around and alive.
Well, and you think of theater and how in Shakespeare's era, men were playing women, white men were
It,
playing colored people.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. This has been the trend that, straight white men have always been the ones to say, all right, well, I'm going to take it upon myself to play this other. And I get it. Like, that is the job of an actor, no matter who, like, what your racial makeup looks like, no matter your sexuality, whatever. The job of an actor is to play something that you're not, period.
Hmm.
But it does raise the question of inclusion and, like, why has there been such a strong division? And I think going back to the Lashana Lynch playing 007, not James Bond, but playing 007, I think is a really interesting idea. Because again, like Ash, as you point out, this is in 2020. This is an issue that has been brought up a lot. And anytime that we can take any established character, and this has kind of been going on for, a few years now. We saw this in 2016 Ghostbusters. Not a great movie, but
The women, am I right?
but no, it was an interesting experiment, and I loved seeing that group of characters together. I loved seeing what they did. It didn't work for me as a Ghostbusters movie. If it was like a different kind of a thing, or maybe actually even if keep it as a Ghostbusters movie, but just improve the script maybe a little bit. Maybe take some of the improvisation out.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's one of the things that hurt the film. Too much improvisation. Never thought I'd hear myself say that.
I know, I am
I know, right?
shocked.
But yeah, no, I see this only as a good thing because we can only benefit from this. We can only get new perspectives. We can only branch out and hear new voices and hear what other people have to say. When you keep getting the same demographic coming back over and over and over again, your ideas become limited. But when you have
Right.
a wider demographic base, and trying something new, that's the whole thing. And I don't have high hopes for this movie. I have been extremely vocal about this for quite a while now. I'm looking forward to the Cary Fukunaga, who is the director. I think he's going to do a really cool job. I don't know. Billie Eilish doing the music for the film crushes my heart. Oh, I hate
Why?
Billie Eilish. Oh, I hate her so much.
My
Oh, I
God.
can't stand her.
I just started getting
I'm
into
sorry for
her.
you.
Um, but that's how I knew about the new 007 movie, which is hilarious. I went to film
Hey,
school.
I get it. And that's the thing. I don't begrudge Billie Eilish. Like, she's objectively extremely talented. If she wasn't, she wouldn't have won 3 Grammys her first time at the Grammys. That never would have happened. She's likable by a lot of people. She's talented. She knows what she's doing, and I think that she has a very bright career ahead of her. Her music is not meant for me. Let's be honest. I'm 38 years old. I'm a straight white male living in New York City. Her music is not meant for me. I don't care for it. Her music is meant for a very different generation, a very different demographic, and that's fine. I just don't care for it. So, I mean, like, all of these things are kind of hallmarks that I look at, especially coming off the heels of Spectre into No Time to Die. I just don't have high hopes for this movie. I hope it's going to be amazing. I'm not allowing myself to hope that high. Ashley, are you going to see the film, and what are your general overall thoughts there?
Well, I haven't really followed any of the James Bond movies. I'm not really a great film student because my interest lies more in documentary style film.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I will see it. I mean, because you and I are talking about it, I feel like I have to. And I think it's important to support films that are, I don't want to say breaking the norm because I think that this is the new norm. I have to let my dog out or she's gonna just lose
You
her
do
mind.
that, and I will just finish up here. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, guys, what do you think of the new Bond film coming out? What do you think of Lashana Lynch playing 007? She's not playing James Bond. She's only taking on the moniker of 007. What does that mean to you? Are you excited for it? Are you over it? Are you somewhere in the middle? I want to know. Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Scrooge McDuck would want you to do. DuckTales, woo!